Coming up on the Leadership Growth Podcast.
When there's a discussion happening in a team, it's recognizing when might there be that topic that everybody knows is there, but nobody's wanting to admit it. And so it's being able to bring the stinky tuna that's lying under the table up on top. And you slap, I love as you made that motion. As you slap it down
up there. Slop it.
Here is the stinky tuna. What are we going to do with it?
Hey, everyone. Welcome to the Leadership Growth Podcast. I'm Daniel Stewart, and I'm joined with my brother, Peter Stewart. Say hi, Peter.
Should I say hi, Peter? Hello.
That's right.
It's good to join you.
And we're here to talk about timely leadership topics that are going to be amazingly practical tools and ideas to help you grow your leadership ability. We've been able to actually do this for the past year using the Leadership Growth Hour, a monthly live event. And we're so excited to transition this now into a twice a month podcast, half-hour podcasts or so, for people to be able to access this on an even easier basis. Listen, anyway, we've just got a lot of great feedback, and so it's fun to transition into a podcast form. That's right.
That's exciting. It is. In the words of Dad, he would say this is historic. He said that for so many things throughout life when you have a big shift or a change. So it is. Here we're pivoting to focusing. It's a podcast. And the two of us get to chat often about these important topics to help leaders.
I love it. Historic. This is historic. That's right.
Yes.
And besides, you and I get to chat and do this thing together, which will be fun.
I'm looking forward to it.
Hey, do you think we should have the occasional guest, or do you think we should just leave it for you and I?
We're welcome to the comments from listeners. We can have fun. Sure, let's bring on some folks to join us every once in a while.
Definitely.
Always good to invite more to the party.
Love it. Okay, let's start off with the opening segment. That's right. We are so official, we have segments. Here's the first segment. Peter, give me an insight of the week. With all of your travels, with all of the consulting you've been doing this week, what is an insight of the week? Go.
First one that comes to mind, when you are trying to implement an organizational change, be sure and include the people it will affect early on. I spent some time this week talking with a group of operational leaders, very frustrated at a massive system that had gotten built, supposedly updated, but they had not been asked their opinion. And they are the end user. So that is the insight of the week.
Oh, yes. My heart
goes
out.
Have you ever heard that story before, Daniel? Has that ever happened?
And unfortunately, it's all too often. Despite people's best interests, it just doesn't always happen. And sometimes it's hard to even know who to include.
Oh, yes. Because I do agree, and I think most people still are trying to do the best job they can.
Yeah,
that's a bias I'll take. But yeah, that small little detail, it sure helps ensure that the end product, result, change process doesn't waste cycles.
Oh, yeah. Oh, that's powerful. Okay, so
I'll throw it back to you.
Yeah.
Your insight of the week.
Yeah. Okay. Good question. So here is something I learned which blew my mind.
Okay.
I found out that McDonald's, the average length of employment these days at a McDonald's. Can you guess how long? I shouldn't ask you. I already told you. It's 21 days. 21 days.
Not weeks, not months.
Correct. Days. Think of the implication. How do you manage in an environment where you're trying to build a relationship. What kind of a relationship can you build? Can it get even past a transactional basis? And we were talking about even the compensation approach, that you're then paid at the end of the day for the work you were able to do, because you can't even count on necessarily every 2 weeks or even 1 week, because maybe they're gone.
So I might even be getting French fries in my order that are older than the tenure of these employees.
Oh, wow. Wow.
What a shift. What a shift. You can't wait to pay them at payday because they won't be there.
Correct. And yet I want to appreciate the perspective, and everyone's trying to figure that out. It is just incredibly hard to then be able to figure out how to retain, how to create an engaged workforce when the tenure is so short. So lots of implications there, lots of things to then be able to think about culture and management, and how to then be able to get people excited to stay longer than 21 days.
Yeah. And then here's the thought to extend that. Is this an anomaly of recent time, or is this a foreshadowing of what a new norm could be?
Oh, that's good. So pandemic, we saw it very much shift more toward the employee in terms of a sense of control. Now it's kind of shifting more back to the employer. However, with the job market fluctuating at various different types of industries and positions, to be able to have that kind of a power to say, oh, I'm out after 21 days, and then to have something else presumably to go to. And how long will this last, to your point?
Yeah.
And
how long? And here's where you want to just dive in and get the data. Like, are these voluntary terminations? Are these involuntary terminations? Why are people leaving? Are they hopping over because, hey, I'm done with McDonald's, now I'm going to work at Taco Bell, or I've got a job somewhere else? Or is it, man, work is hard, I don't want to work? I mean, there's lots of reasons why people might leave on all extremes. So this is going to be an interesting bit of data to follow here for the coming months.
Okay, so let's do a thought experiment. Using your insight that you just shared, that people are going to more likely, be bought into that which they were included into. How can you bring in a workforce and help identify solutions when you don't even know that they'll stay anyway? But how do you leverage that concept, that principle?
Mm-hmm. Because are you really, well, I guess you could look at, if I was corporate McDonald's or in a similar area, and you could, have analogous to a lot of different places, as you have the conversation with the people who stayed, what was it about this place that made you stay? So that you're becoming really fully aware of what those factors are. So you're not going to stop doing those things. Now, if you do have the opportunity to do those exit surveys and others to find out why people are leaving, see what control and changes and levers you can adjust. But that's going to be really that thought experiment of can we find out, is it the fact that I didn't like the material of the uniform, or was it I didn't get my schedule enough time? I have a teenager, he's working in a fast food place right now. He doesn't get his schedule for the week until Tuesday, and the week schedule starts Wednesday. So he's notified like a day before, potentially, of when he's going to work.
Right.
So maybe it's something like that comes a lot of different reasons, but oh, wow. How can things change or shift to get people to stay?
Yeah. Yeah. And then, of course, with people shifting so much, how can you even plan and staff much anyway? So more to come on this, but I thought it was so interesting. 21 days, lots of implications there. We can no doubt have more conversations in the future.
We can keep talking about the golden arches for the next hour.
Okay.
One.
Next segment, Peter. Are you ready for this one?
I am.
This is the memory lane segment. For all of our listeners, whether you know this or not. So yes, Peter and I are brothers. And our dad started the business, Stewart Leadership, like in 1980.
John Parker Stewart.
That's right, John Parker Stewart. And we have grown up with this for so long. And we have two other brothers as well. We all grew up with this. I mean, this is just what we talked about, dinner table conversations. And so memory lane is going to be our chance to share and open up. That's right. We might break down and cry. Okay, maybe not that much. But anyway,
the nostalgia will flow.
we'll give some insight as to growing up in the Stewart household. That's right. With our great dad and talking about leadership theory on a normal basis. So, Peter, memory lane. Give us a story. Give us a moment. That's right. Memory lane in the Stewart household. Go.
Okay. First thought that comes to mind. I'll see if you remember this one. We had in the garage area, we had all these pigeonhole cubbies full of papers as we would assemble binders for his seminars. I mean, and there were just hundreds of these stacks of files, and we'd have laid out on these tables to put the binders together. And there was one particular page that fascinated me as a kid. And it was a pixelated image with the words underneath, "Do you see a cow?" ? Do you see a cow?
Yes, yeah. I remember
and it was a very pixelated picture. And I kept looking at this for the longest time, like, I don't see a cow. It's kind of like a fish. I don't know. But what was it? Until finally I asked Dad, and he's like, oh, no, it's actually, if you stand back, it's a pixelated image of Abraham Lincoln.
That's right.
But it had been turned landscape, or, it'd been rotated 90 degrees. And I'm like, why are you passing out a page that says, do you see a cow, with a pixelated Abraham Lincoln on it? And it was the power of suggestion. Because so many people in the seminars would say, oh yeah, I think I can see it there. I can see it there. And others are totally confused. And it's being clear on your messaging, being aware of how you are leading others in terms of suggestion, what they can find. But it just felt very random. It's like, wow, do you see a cow? So here we are, decades later. I can still see the cow. No.
Peter, this is awesome. Okay, so do you mind if I build on that? So I'm gonna go there. So I have distinct memories of, like, we had a bonus room above the garage, which was Dad's office. Mm-hmm. And all of those cubbies with all of those flyers that we would then fill in all of the binders and preparing for his leadership seminars. And they were seminars. That's right. That was the term, with 3 to 5 day, often 5 day seminars.
And these were thick binders. They were like 3-inch binders with tabs. I mean, there were tons of handouts in there.
Oh, and we knew that we could not make a mistake. And it had to be exact, every single one. And Dad was not mean about it. It was just very clear. Yeah. And so we had those binders, and we would have a system. And I was like 10 or 12, child labor, putting these things together.
And we had fun while we did it.
Yes. But man, I mean, we learned how to be precise. And to your point here, we all then focused on the material. And so I forgot about the Abraham Lincoln one, but I remember one of the great quotes that I really liked was, "You cannot steal second without taking your foot off of first."
Yep. Yep. And there's a little image next to it.
Oh yeah. And I remember thinking, and there was also one by Andre Gide, I think, which was something about you have to be able to to see new shores. You have to then let go of past ones. It's the same idea. Anyway, yes. So like from the age of 8 and 10, these are the kinds of things that I grew up seeing in you, both of us, all of us.
We're sitting here staring at all these quotes as we're looking at each of the pages. Like I remember the Henry Ford quote. It was right, formatted right smack dab in the middle. Oh. Whether you think you can or you think you can't, you're right.
You're right.
And I hear you. And so we were seeing these over and over again. And it becomes indoctrinated in you. I'm still thinking about that Henry Ford quote and the power of the way you think. That positive thought. Okay, can you do it or can't you? Well, depends on whether you think you can. It matters. Oh. And then that idea of quality control. And he would call it quality control check. And we'd lay out all the binders and go through and turn, because there were usually about 20 to 25 in a seminar. So we were assembling those, lay them out all on the binders, and we'd go and turn one page at a time and make sure they all matched after we made them.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Absolutely.
So that was a fun trip down memory lane. Good suggestion, Daniel.
Hey, my pleasure. Thank you. Thanks for joining me, Peter. Oh, this is good. And I wonder how many people by this point are like, wow, those two sound a lot alike. But yes, it just happens. And there you go. I get that a lot.
You get that. I get that as well.
Oh, brother.
It happens. And we won't say who's older and who's better looking or who's smarter.
Well, clearly
the answers are obvious.
Yes, you're okay. Wow, this is, by the way, who's older? That's going to be the great question that people will just have to keep wondering. That's right.
Yeah.
Just have to keep wondering. Maybe we'll never say it.
Do we ever give the answer? We'll see.
Maybe this will be something for years, and they'll all be wondering, and they'll never know. Okay. On to the topic at hand. Shall we dive into it?
Let's dive into it.
Okay. The topic that we want to dive into, metaphor. There is so many great comments these days around how to tell great stories, how to utilize metaphor to be able to convey a sense, to invoke emotion, to create a sense of stickiness so that people can understand something, that they can connect with it. This power of metaphor. And I go back to some of my graduate school days back at the University of Colorado at Boulder. Great program, great experience. I remember studying well, what did you say?
Go Buffs.
Oh, yes. My gosh, that's a whole nother conversation. They're having such an amazing renaissance and rebirth. Anyway, yes, go Buffs. So Images of Organization by Gareth Moran. Fantastic. And then more recently, you start seeing books like by Karen Eber, The Perfect Story. And you start seeing more and more of the power of metaphor. Okay, so Peter, I want you to think about what is a great metaphor that you have used either yourself or that you've seen other leaders use to help convey something. And what is it about the metaphor that is so important? Yeah, please jump on in.
And I don't think we're going to dive into the linguistic origin of metaphor or the distinction between a metaphor and a simile. And
you mean the Greek origin? Well, because that's where metaphor comes from. Did you want me to dive into the Greek origin?
We can, for all the linguists out there, we'll spare them.
Yeah.
So metaphors at its core, it's using a representation, an analogy to help illustrate a bigger point, which can be very, very powerful. So when we think about metaphors, one of the first that comes to mind for me is actually one that has been used by a CEO I've been working with for the last several years. And she uses it all the time, and I love it, and I've adopted it. And she calls it the stinky tuna. The stinky tuna. So when there's a discussion happening in a team, it's recognizing when might there be that topic that everybody knows is there, but nobody's wanting to admit it. And so it's being able to bring the stinky tuna that's lying under the table up on top. And you slap, I love as you made that motion. As you slap it down on the table.
Slop it.
Here is the stinky tuna. What are we going to do with it? So that we're actually going to address this problem. We're not going to sit here and try and put clothespins on our noses or act like it doesn't exist, because this is a big issue. So the metaphor is the tuna represents the big problematic issue that needs to be solved. And it can't be solved just by one person. These are usually big systemic issues and challenges that need to be managed.
Yeah.
So the stinky tuna.
So what I love about this is you're helping illustrate what makes a good metaphor as well. Because a good metaphor, it needs to be known, needs to be understood already in some way. Mm-hmm. And it needs to have some sort of like memory component that matches the intensity of what you're trying to describe. So you're describing the messiness of some sort of awkward challenge. Okay, tunas can get really, really pungent. And that pungent aroma, that scent, oh, it matches so well. And it impacts the olfactory. You know, you could almost smell it. You can almost and feel the scaliness and
the slime. You want to pick it up.
Oh, the slime, and you're not going to forget this. So it has this stickiness element, like maybe not literally, but it's sticking. I mean, I'm not going to forget. I almost feel like I have to wash my hands. It just is so much. So
now everybody's going to want to go get sushi after this episode.
We'll have Harry Styles in the background singing. That's lovely. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So, by the way, I just realized I totally goofed. It's Gareth Morgan, Images of the Organization. I apologize, Gareth. Anyway, so one of those moments, yeah, I had to clarify. So anyway, what you're clarifying.
Just note, we will be keeping tally of the times Daniel makes an error. So you'll notice it will not get very high. So let's just call it out here. He made a mistake.
It'll just keep tabulating each time. It'll keep going up. I feel so ashamed. Okay, we're moving past this. So here's one.
That's one metaphor.
Yes.
Do you want to keep riffing on that metaphor, or do you have another one that comes to mind?
Oh, I'm gonna add a new metaphor, Peter. Are you ready?
We're ready.
Are you ready?
Do we add sound effects to this? Should I get something where we can have like a drum roll? That would be fun.
Yeah. I did have a snare drum when I was young. I took drums. That's
you
right.
Did?
For a whole semester.
I think it's still in our parents' attic.
I think so.
It probably is.
I'll have them ship it out.
There we go.
That's right. I got pretty good
drum roll.
Drum roll. So the next one, and this comes from a great friend of ours, John Zerbini. Love the guy, fantastic guy. So one of our great consultants. He and I go way back as well. So he uses this metaphor analogy. Okay. He uses this story, this metaphor to describe leadership to people, because he says sometimes we all think leadership is like a Ferrari. Okay. Ooh. So that's a simple type of metaphor. I'm going with a metaphor. Leadership is like a Ferrari, this fancy, beautiful sports car. And it's really smooth and it's well painted and it looks fantastic and it's expensive and all of this stuff.
He's like, fun to drive.
Oh,
it's exhilarating.
And obviously, whoever's driving it is doing well and they're having a great life and everything is just going swimmingly, to borrow the tuna metaphor. Okay, so anyway, however,
swimming with Ferraris.
Anyway. Swimming with Ferraris. That sounds like an article title. Okay, so he says, but no, leadership is actually like a beat up truck. And when I first heard this, I'm like, okay, John, keep going. Where are you going with this? Okay, keep going.
Mhm.
And I love it because he did. And he kept saying, it's like a beat up old truck. It'll get you there. It might not be pretty. It might not be the most expensive. You might not be able to get the most glory from it, from the experience. Others might see you driving this thing. They might not look at you in the same way as they might if you're driving a Ferrari, but you're working. And it is hard work, and it's messy, and it is the hard work of a leader. And it takes that to be able to be successful. And we actually included that in our Lead Now book in the intro because it's such a powerful way of being able to help paint the picture of these misperceptions that we have about leadership, that too often it's this glorious, this all obviously a lot of money and titles. No, it is hard work. It's worth it, and it's needed, and it can pull a lot of weight, but it may not be the prettiest thing and the most glorious, but it's needed. Yeah, and we need it. And we need great trucks. We need things to be able to do the hard work. Anyway, that to me, I've always kept, and of course I have John's great storytelling voice in my mind as we're going through this.
He's so good at telling that as well. And also what I love about that analogy is you think about the functional purpose of a truck. The functional purpose of a truck is to carry loads.
Mm.
You know, it's come on board. You can fit more people in it. You can hook up a trailer to it and pull stuff and haul stuff. It's got capacity and horsepower and engine to get over some of the roughest terrain.
Ooh, yes.
A Ferrari can go fast. It's got a big engine, but it can only go where there's a smooth road. And most roads are not smooth.
Peter, that was beautiful. And so you're, again, conveying one of the great points about a fantastic metaphor. You can continue it. You can build it on, and you can keep connecting it with yourself and with others in really helpful ways to keep building in the point as well. Oh,
and to pull on that point again, because I think sometimes we can get stuck trying to find the perfect metaphor to illustrate something. And I'm not sure you ever find a perfect metaphor. You find one that works, but there's always that one person in the audience as you're sharing a metaphor for the group who's trying to pick it apart, who's trying to find, well, actually it doesn't work because the torque based off of this engine or whatever it might be, you know, they find some reason why. But even when they're trying to dissect and pick apart the metaphor, what is it doing? It's causing them to focus on that topic, to reflect on it even deeper. And I'll say, great, find me a new one. What metaphor would you pick?
Oh, yeah.
And then they'll come up with one that fits for them. It's like, great. The principle is still helping to be taught and conveyed, whether you have the perfect metaphor or not.
Peter, that's deep. That's I mean, you're bringing this full circle. You know the whole aha that you began with, involving people so that they can increase the buy-in. You're wow, that was beautiful.
Well, thank you. This is where we need the angel chime sound effect.
The violins at the very end of the sitcom coming in. Yes, exactly.
Yes. Yeah. Okay, so should we go on to another metaphor?
Sure, but yeah, please jump on in.
One more metaphor, and I think as we talk about the metaphor of the squirrel and how it can help focus and not distract people. Squirrels are going everywhere, and it's a commonly used metaphor, which is why I love to reference it so often. You say squirrel, and where are they going? They're heading all over the place. How do we be conscious of the squirrels that are diverting the attention from what needs to happen, what really needs to occur? And sometimes we can even feel like a squirrel.
Oh yeah. Yeah. Oh, I love it. I love it, especially with the distractions. There are so many easy ways to be distracted.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely. Okay, so shall we wrap up with a lightning round?
Ooh, lightning round. That sounds painful.
Yeah, this is going to be excruciating, but we'll be quick. That's the advantage.
Quick. Okay, so you don't strike me with lightning. It's just reference to the speed.
That's right. It's a metaphor, Peter.
Oh, okay. There we go.
Oh my gosh. Okay, I can't believe we're doing this. All right, so here we go. So, Peter, question for you.
Okay.
What's the one thing that we need to pay attention to as we want to utilize metaphors in storytelling?
The most important thing for a metaphor is you have to make sure that people know what it is. Like they can relate to whatever topic you're talking about. This is one of the challenges when people try and reference a character from a TV series or something like that. You'll get a small segment who might understand it because they watched that, but the rest of the audience is lost. So try and have something that's as generalizable as possible. Easily known.
That's fantastic. That's fantastic. Okay.
Lightning round for you, Daniel.
Okay.
What is one thing to be careful of or to avoid when making metaphors?
Ooh. So one thing you want to avoid is overthinking it. You just don't want to overthink it and make it so grandiose. You want to keep it as simple and as everyday and as connecting as possible. Yes, it may have been used before, but put it in your own words. Make it unique and own it. So don't overthink it and make it special to you and own those words. And that's going to go much farther because people will remember the intensity, the genuineness, and it connects with them as well versus making it too elaborate. Keep it simple.
Yeah. Well put. Well put. Those are good tips.
Awesome. Peter, okay. Well, did you have fun today?
I did. This is good. We should do this again.
Hey, great idea. Let's do this again. Okay, folks. Hey, from my brother Peter and I, thanks so much for joining us on the Leadership Growth Podcast. Please visit our website at stewardleadership.com. Check out all of the great information in the show notes. And above all, keep developing and good luck on your leadership journey. Till next time, take care, everybody. If you liked this episode, please share it with a friend or colleague, or better yet, leave a review to help other listeners find our show. And remember to subscribe so you never miss an episode. For more great content or to learn about how Stewart Leadership can help you grow your ability to lead effectively, please visit stewardleadership.com.